let's just jump into it. Welcome, guys, to another episode of Dallas Beer Talk, Drunken Public Edition, with no alcohol, because this is 6 in the morning. I'm playing. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, but I'm here with Tupps Brewery's owner and head of sales. God, I'm blanking on the names right now. I'm really nervous. Keith
and
Lewis.
Chase
Lewis.
Yeah.
Father and son, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. This is a family affair. So first of all, thank you guys for jumping in on the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
I know you guys are super busy. Blur is coming out, and we're going to talk about it. But I just want to start off by saying it's been 2 years since the last time we saw each other in Boston. You made the video, by the way. I don't know if you ever saw it.
I don't think I did.
But you and Jerry made it. And Jerry had a lot of nice things to say about you, and you guys talked for quite a bit.
Yeah.
And that made me want to hang out with you, but we never made it happen.
For sure.
So, we got to see you again.
Yeah, a lot has changed since then.
A lot has.
Both with Tupps and the world, and
yes, and we will talk about that too a little bit. But you guys have been super successful over the last 2 years. I mean, you guys have always been super successful, right? But the last 2 years, the DD6 Series has launched off. I feel like the resurgence of the full-grown Jack series has become popular again. I know when I first got into craft beer, that was the go-to stout, and it kind of missed the craft beer locally for a while, but it's like a resurgence where everybody is talking about it again. Last year, at least, in 2019, when you get the series again.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I think part of it is like when we first launched it, you know, I don't know, the full-grown series launched 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
It was where we could find a home for it. And so it was specialty bottle shops, you know, maybe some of the specs and Total Wines, but, you know, the relationship with Benny Keith has been, you know, hugely important for us, incredibly valuable. And so we've been able to get some of those beers that might have just been that niche kind of, you know, back at the shelf, kind of a, you know, specialty place into more places. So, you know, the larger grocery chains are able to access those now. We've increased production capacity, but then also the availability is you know, more there now than it was. So,
that makes more sense.
so yeah.
It is
so
out everywhere now.
Yeah, so you see it popping up on the internet more.
It's probably our hardest beer to make. So,
Really?
So anytime it's push comes to shove, what do we make? It's like, well, that gets pushed back, you know. So it's like, well, let's make more IPA.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the gold standard now in the craft beer community. It's IPAs, and you can't have a brewery without
Right.
IPA. I mean, you can make hazies or West Coast, whatever, but you can't have a brewery without it.
Right.
Nowadays, at least.
Yeah.
No, but I like the full-grown Jack series.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of my favorite series. I love stouts, so I really, really appreciate it. So who came up with the idea for full-grown Jacks for the stout series?
Well, I think the name was you, right? I mean,
Yeah, I think it was. I guess came up with the name, and then my middle son actually was our head brewer, Chris. His brother-in-law is an artist, and they were kind of hanging out at the house one day, and he starts drawing this picture of Chris, who's got a big beard and all that, and he gnarlied it up and everything. It's like, well, damn, that's a full-grown man. So the name, the art, it all came together, and it's been wildly popular. But being over 12%, it's not for the faint of heart. So
No, it's not.
it's a single, maybe a double, but that's it.
Well, you do have some unique packaging on some of your one-offs for sometimes the 2 cans.
Right.
I forgot which series you did that for.
most of the barrel-aged stuff now is going into those 2-can boxes.
Okay.
Yeah, so barrel-aged Scallywag, bourbon barrel-aged full-grown man.
That's the one I was thinking about.
Yeah.
No, but I love it. You do have some interesting artwork sometimes. So I want to pass off my first question to you. I've really never met you before, sir. Till today. But what made you want to open a brewery with your family? I really appreciate it's a family affair, but what made you want to do that?
Yeah. Well, it kind of evolved, you know, being in corporate America for many, many years, you know, you're kind of working for the man and doing your thing. And actually got a home brew kit from my wife for Christmas one year and got into home brewing, and then all the kids joined in. And so there we were in the garage, you know, doing our thing. And it was a lot of fun, and, you know, going to, you know, festivals and homebrew events. And, you know, the demographic is definitely not me. It's people like Chase and Chris and Katie, all my kids, and they embraced the business, thought it was great. So it's like, why brew a lot of home brew that you just drink or give away when you could actually maybe brew it and sell it and make money?
Yeah.
So that was kind of the genesis behind the whole thing, is get the family together, build a business that has lasting power, you know, where you can make payroll. where you can give everybody a real salary and a real life. And I think we've accomplished that so far.
No, from the outside looking in, I don't know the business like that, but I see it's successful. And the people who work here love you guys. The people who drink here love you guys. The craft beer community love you guys. I'm in I'm in a lot of private beer groups, and they all drive from all over DFW to come here, because they enjoy you guys, So it's a staple of good beer.
Yeah. Good beer and a fun place to hang out, because
This is very true.
everybody will say, well, you got to have the best beer, you got to have the best food, and it's like you just got to have great people. And if you got great people in a good environment where people can socialize and drink beer, eat food, listen to music, it's a pretty easy formula. So.
Well, it's true. I'm a type of person. I've been starting to say this all year, because craft beer is a bit expensive, right? Of course, when you have big production companies like Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors, whatever, they can sell super cheap beer because they make it in such mass quantity, right?
Right.
But if you want to support local, it's a little bit more expensive. Not crazy expensive, but it adds up. So I started saying I buy my heart versus my taste. Like it helps. Like if I come to a place like here, that it's good beer, and I enjoy being here, so I'm buying with my heart and have good taste. But I usually buy from my heart because I love the craft beer community. I love the people, because, like you said, you want an environment to come hang out, and you guys have this here. Yeah, I've been to baby showers here.
Right.
I've been at charity events here. It just hang here.
Yeah.
Even in the middle of summer when it's fucking sucks here sometimes. Just to be honest.
Yeah.
Just to be honest.
Yeah, it's a little hot in here, and it's a little cold in here in the winter, but we're gonna fix that. We're gonna fix all that. So.
Yeah, when we first posted on the internet about the new location, I think the first 10 comments were, "Cool, is it gonna have air conditioning?"
Yeah, I think you're in a similar boat with Three Nations. That was their first questions on when they posted about the new facility. Like, is it gonna be AC?
Yeah.
Are you guys allowed to talk about the new facility?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, for my first question, what prompted the change? Just bigger location, or just more of a, just necessity?
Well, I mean, we're tapped out here. We have no more room for tanks. There's things we want to do to the process to make it easier, better, cheaper, and we just don't have any room to expand and to do that. And then still have a vibrant tap room, and that's really, really important. That extends the brand, and it's a good margin product. Everybody has to have a tap room to stay alive. So we looked around. We looked at 3 different cities and talked to multiple people, builders, developers, and we just kind of stumbled into a location just north of here, we're in McKinney, so we're a little over half a mile north in a 120-year-old grain facility. It's the coolest thing. It's trash like you wouldn't believe it right now.
I would.
But we'll be in there swinging here in another 30 days, and it's probably going to take 2 years to build it. But we'll have a 8 to 10,000 square foot tap room, a full restaurant. Really, it's going to be cool. We'll have a 30,000 square foot state-of-the-art brewery where we're kind of shoehorned in here, and we just got in this location, it's just a steel building, and we just made it work. And in that building, it'll be purpose-built for making beer, seltzer, and eventually other products in the future. So we're excited.
You got a whole 5-year plan here.
Yeah.
That's what makes you guys different, though. No, it's exciting. This is very exciting. 2 years, though, I believe you see a lot of these McKinney, Frisco, when you get up to Sherman, you have these grain places that's just run down. So I can believe it. If anybody's been here in North Texas, you've seen some of these places. Even South Texas, you see some of these empty grain places. It looks trashed.
Yeah.
So I can imagine what it takes to rebuild it and purposes out for a brewery and a restaurant.
Right.
I don't know if you guys caught that. He said a restaurant's gonna be there as well, so that's exciting.
Yeah, it'll be good. We'll have really, really good food, and we want to extend the historic nature. I mean, in this location, we're just south of a cotton mill, and now we'll be right in the heart of a historic facility. So, people will just be able to look around and gaze off into the silos and everything, and it's gonna be north of badass.
It is gonna be badass. It's exciting.
That was another. A lot of the comments and a lot of the feedback we've gotten from other people that we've talked to since we announced and went public with the new facility is that kind of apprehension of, man, I hope they don't lose the character. I hope they don't lose the charm. And I think one thing that we can guarantee is that, you got to look inside this building. It is this, but worse. And it'll be nicer feeling when you're sitting inside and comfortable with air conditioning, but it is not going to lose any bit of the charm or the soul of kind of what the building was, and then what makes Tupps. So it's going to be roachy and broken and rusted and comfortable and really fun. So I just, to like assure to the people out there who are apprehensive, like, oh man, they're building a brand new building. We're not. We want to put the beer production into something that's new and clean, but the tap room and where you hang out and where you spend your time is going to be just the same thing you're used to at Tupps, but on overdrive. It's going to be great.
But here's the thing. It's the people who makes the place, right? This place, the building, this building's nice, right?
Well, that's the people is this guy. I mean, this is all his creative vision and scouring, junk heaps and
Of course, he's the man who may have to help with the master plan, but it's also, listen, you can't knock the bartenders,
Right. No, that's true.
The beer keepers here, you have great bartenders here.
Yeah.
I keep saying bartenders, I shouldn't be saying beer keepers, but your son, the brewer, I've met him a handful of times. Great guy. But that environment of just easy, chill, love to hang out, very friendly, comes from the team here, and then that feeds into the people feeling comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
A bunch of your sales reps are great too. One of your sales reps that I met for the first time, his name is Mike. He just moved back to California. One of the nicest people in the world.
Absolutely.
A drinker.
Yeah.
Like most people in the beer community, a drinker. But
He participated.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Like, he's one of the sweetest guys and a hard worker. But that's the whole team, though. It's all good, but that comes from you guys. So long as you guys are involved still, you're not selling it off to nobody else. I'm assuring the people, as long as you guys are involved, it's gonna feel the same.
Yeah, and that's one of the I guess benefits of it being family owned is that we're all in this together. We drive our spouses crazy because we never stop talking about it, but everybody's in it, everybody's vested. I mean, we've been open, I guess we started this 6 years ago, and I think everybody was newly married, and now I have 7 grandkids in 6 years. That's insane.
Congratulations.
So
how many of those are yours?
2 of them are mine. Yeah.
Congratulations
Thank
to
you.
you, sir.
So it's kind of like in the old days, with farmers. You had a lot of kids to like till the fields.
Yeah.
It's kind of where we are. We got future brewers and salespeople they're being bred organically.
That is awesome. Congratulations on growing
fun.
a family. But but you can feel it though. Listen, I'm new to craft beer. First time I came here was 3 years ago. And it's one of the places that's just easy to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't want to belittle no other brewery, but there's some places where you go and you don't feel as comfortable. It's not the fault of the place. It's not the fault of the people. Sometimes it's just the vibe doesn't work out.
Yeah, and I think to a certain extent it has to grow organically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I look around here and there's a wagon that was built in the 1800s sitting in the corner, and that wagon was a guy came in and he goes, "Hey, you want a wagon?" I mean, so even our customers have embraced the place, and I mean, the barrels that we use, to age our beers are from local distilleries and local wineries, and they've become friends. And there's local festivals. You look up on there, and there's 2 cars that we made that we've raced in the Denton Day of the Dead festival, and
those are actually working.
Yeah,
I thought those were just props.
No, we race those things. Yeah, no. So there's all. I mean, you just look around, it's all organic. The tables in here were made by a steel worker guy that lives in Prosper, and it's real. It's just real. It's fun, and it goes all the way from our employees to even our customers that come up and donate stuff. So cool stuff.
No, that's 100%. Well, I didn't know that some of this stuff was donated. But it's all a community thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
They liked you guys. They felt comfortable, and then they want to contribute because, to believe it or not, 6 years, craft beer in the grand scheme of things is young. But here in DFW, you're one of the founding fathers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, man.
It's crazy to think of that.
Yeah.
It is crazy. That's what I'm saying.
Because when we first got into the business, you looked at the other breweries that had been around a lot longer, and I remember thinking, man, Peticolas, young whippersnapper of a brewery, only been around for 12 months, trying to disrupt the whatever. And now thinking about Peticolas, I mean, he's like one of the grandfathers of the Dallas industry.
Yeah.
And I remember we were at a festival, and one of the first festivals that we'd ever done, and we were having a hard time getting our jockey box to work, probably because of poblano pepper got stuck on the line or some nonsense we were trying to do,
It
right?
was definitely because we had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah.
A lot of home brewers.
It was probably a pressure issue because we didn't know what we were doing. But Michael was at the festival, walked over, helped us out, chatted us up, super, super nice guy. And to think, that was pretty much 6 years ago, right when we got into the business, and now everybody's grown up and you don't see the owners and the founders at festivals as often because there's, the business is bigger, you have more people to support you, and so you try to get to as many things as you can, but it's just tougher as the business matures, as the industry matures. But, to have literally like all of the owners and founders at all of the festivals all of the time was such a funny thing.
Yeah.
And we still try to do that and be there personally. When it all comes back, like when we met at the Texas Craft Brewers Fest,
Which was a great event.
yeah, I want to be there. I want somebody from the family to be there. And when we go to, and I'd love for us to do that bigger when the world rights itself, but
Hopefully soon.
but they want to homogenize isn't the right word. That's not a fair term, but they want to give everybody at the Texas Craft Brewers Fest like a fair shake to present themselves, right? So we can't roll out for that festival as hard as we do like Big Texas Beer Fest, where like Chad and Nelly are like, oh, you guys want to do something really cool? Please, let's do it. Let's make it better, right?
Yeah.
And so then we put a lot of energy and effort into that, and then we all roll out, and everybody's there. And so if you want to, especially if you're VIP, because we get tired, if you want to come hang out with us and talk to us, we'll be there. And
Yeah, we part of the reason we roll hard is because it's so much fun. I mean,
Well, I think it's I used to say unofficially, but it's common knowledge. North Texas Beer Week festival is the ball for all the people here in North Texas. That's where Michael comes out. You guys come out. Gavin from Free Nation comes out. All the people you've seen 6 years ago that used to come to all the local festivals usually spend their time and energy going to that one big festival because it is a family affair. It is a family affair because of Chad. He makes it feel comfortable. You do the 2-day pass, but Friday night is usually just for the big beer heads and the people in the craft beer industry. So you have all the sales reps there. You have all the owners there. It's our weekend.
Yeah.
If you into craft beer.
Yep.
what's the one? It's the end of North Texas Beer Week. Matt Dixon used to do it.
the ball.
Brewers Ball.
Brewers Ball.
I
Yeah.
missed
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Matt Dixon, if you're listening, we want to do that one again.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to do that again.
Yeah.
I
I think financially that's a tough one because it's got to be a high ticket thing. It's expensive, but it's just a really fun opportunity for people tell brewers to dress up. And then what does that mean, right? Cowboy boots and alligator hat and I wouldn't it's just. But that's a fun festival too.
No, I really enjoy that. I wonder how everything's gonna come back. Matt Dixon, he's an independent person. I know he did a lot of things himself, so I wonder how he's gonna come back. Chad and Nelly is independent as well. How they gonna come back? I'm worried about all our stuff that we enjoy, what will happen. But as long as they're still around, I know you guys and the craft beer community itself will support them. So,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah. Well, it's tough because a lot of the financing opportunities out there right now. There's the PPP that's forgivable, but let it go and you'll get that, you'll spend it, and it'll be gone.
Yeah.
The tougher money is the money that you have to pay back, which is the bigger check, but you still have to pay it back. So like when a lot of these breweries, and especially the festivals, when they do come back, they're going to be struggling to get through that financing that was low interest, long term, whatever that the government's offered. So they're going to be working through this, tough time, not just for when Corona is top of mind, but for the next 5 to 20 years when they're working to pay off all the debt that they've accumulated. So my hope is that, if we're talking about community and everybody kind of, banding together, that we keep the momentum going well past when, Corona's no longer top of mind, and that, we can get Matt Dixon to do Brewers Ball again, and when Chad and Nelly are able to do North Texas Beer Week or Big Texas Beer Fest again, that we all roll hard and make it really, really special so that people, come out in droves and, everybody can get back on their feet. So
I think for you've seen the really big people in craft beer. Well, Tupps, you pull in everybody, right? You guys pull in people who don't know about beer, but you also pull in the hardcore craft beer people, right? I think those people will support hard. Right. And it's just my personal belief, because we all love these places, love these events. Like I said, Friday night for Big Texas Beer Fest, right? It's the community. It's people like you guys who get a chance to relax and see your other friends that you haven't talked to in a while, and then you get to see some of the people really deep into craft beer that you may not have seen in a while, but they used to come to Tupps all the time, or vice versa. You used to see them in other places. You know, you get to hang out, and that's like a reunion for people who love craft beer. I think we will come together as a community and support all these events, and I'm a firm believer in that. We just got to spread the word and get the people who are kind of into beer to come out and support as well, you know?
Right.
And that's that's all our jobs, not just your job, not just Chad's job, you know, it's all of us. Different beer podcast, people who drink beer, you know, bring their friends along, you know? Bring as many people along, you know? So
I think especially kind of now is a pivotal time for a lot of breweries. We talk a lot about Michael. Well, if you really understand the business models for each one of these breweries, a guy like Michael, he doesn't package his beer and sell it to grocery stores.
yeah,
And that's the part of the market that's on fire. That's the part that we're lucky. I mean, because our can business is doing really, really well. So, not that we don't want you to come out here and drink beer, but you know, go to Michael's place because he needs it. So you can look at some of these breweries who have business models like that, and that's really the place I think you should focus your energy and support.
When, like you were talking about Odd Muse earlier too, they were planning on being a tap room with selling some draft out in the market.
yeah,
Draft is shut down, tap rooms have been shut down, and they just opened.
yeah.
I mean,
It's tough. Really
that's
tough.
rough.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of people out there that, you know, people talk about the reckoning in craft beer or the bubble bursting in craft beer. Well, this is really going to test that. And we haven't seen as many breweries go under as I would have thought, you know, coming into all this. And I hope that's a good thing.
I hope it,
But
again, that's for all of us. You know, we don't know everybody else's what's going on behind the scenes, but I really believe the craft beer community came together and everybody picked a spot. You know, again, we can't buy every beer from everybody, right? But everybody picked a location and try to support as much as possible, right? False Idol's a brand new brewery that just opened. Brutal's only been open a year. Odd Muse has been open for 9 months, you know, and they've been closed more than they've been open.
Yeah.
You know? Celestial's have been open only a little bit more than a year. You know, these are younger breweries that, again, they're mostly just tap room beer and draft beer, but people in the beer community rallied around certain locations just to support them, keep them up, you know. And again, like you mentioned before, I hope that continues as I don't know, 2022 open up again. You know, continue to support, but I think we will. I think we will. You know, but you guys are part of that reason why we support hard. You know, this place, you guys, you know, your DD6 series, the Full Grown Jack series. You know, you bring a resurgence of craft beer enthusiasm into the local market, and it gets people to be crazy about beer.
Right.
So you guys play a big role in that too.
yeah,
It's funny how that whole beer scene has changed. And it used to be that, you know, you'd come to market with 4 or 5 core beers and you just make the heck out of them. And now it's everybody's mantra used to be, you know, like, well, what's your latest IPA? You know, and now it's just what's new. I want new, and it drives us crazy.
I bet it does.
But you have to have a lot of tanks because you know you can't get one gigantic tank and just fill it full of one beer. So it's a little harder to manage, but keeping it new, keeping it fresh, giving everybody a reason to keep coming back, and I think that's what makes it fun and keeps everybody challenged, I think.
yeah. The economics of it. The economics of it are definitely more difficult. You know, having to change over. Like we were talking about doing the amber, the holiday spice amber earlier before I think we started this.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do, as long as we can pull it off, right? So no guarantees. 6 labels, you know. So our canning line will label each can in the 6-pack. It's a different label. It's all the same beer, but it kind of gives that whole holiday package gift theme thing. So like doing that is like 6xing your design work and the administrative work that goes into approving all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it looks really cool when it's all said and done and it sits on the shelf and people look at it and say, oh, wow. Because that's what makes this fun. And so the market forcing us to always do new, I think forces us to do what we really want to do anyway.
Yeah.
It's just that there's a tendency to get lazy and say, well, just put it in a red can and just ship it. They're going to want to drink it, right? I mean, the beer's great, right? You should drink it because the beer's great. But like, well, no, it's not be naive. I mean, the label plays a big role in that. But
It is
you know,
eye candy.
yeah. But then, when we like the most fun meetings that we have, I think, are the meetings where we all sit down in a room and talk about what do you want to do for the 2021 calendar, for the 2022 calendar. What are the new fun beers you want to do? Well, you want to do a beer with yogurt in it? Like, what? But those conversations are what keep it fun and fresh. And then when you progress through the year, and you look and you say, like, oh, next month on the brew calendar is that fluffy, creamy nonsense we're putting yogurt in. It's like, oh gosh, tell me this is gonna taste good, like. So it's like a love-hate relationship with that, like new, because it's almost like thank you market for forcing us to do what excited us about this industry in the first place. Because it would be a lot easier to say, all right, well, here's our wheat beer and the market loves it, and let's just make millions of cases of it,
Well, lately, it's in the last 2 years, I guess you guys obviously know more than I do about it. It's more like on a bigger scale, all these brewers are forced to be home brewers where, like, okay, what's the no craziest thing we could do that we could afford to do that people would like to and taste good, So it's like a home brew on a bigger scale. That's why I was going to a lot of homebrew festivals and competitions just to see, because that's what the bigger boys were doing,
Right.
trying to stay on the heels of the customers. But one thing I do want to mention is, for a lack of a better phrasing of this, the DD8 series is a reason a lot of people are getting into craft beer who've never been into craft beer before, right? Number one, because most people are like, when you go to the store and buy it, you see DDH, they think it's going to be the same beer, right? But not knowing, because they're not into beer, that it's a different makeup, so it tastes is different.
Right.
And then some might get upset, but some get curious, like, oh, this tastes better or different than I've had before. I want to thank you guys for pushing that DDA series and making it full scale, where you put it into the stores and getting people to try different combinations of hops. I don't think that was the original plan, but that curiosity of trying different things, get people to know different hops, what combination they might like, and get into beer.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I just want to thank you guys for that.
That was the original plan, actually.
That was? Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, like we went to the Pacific Northwest and toured some farms and.
I'm sorry, my voice cracked when I was that guy. I was like, what?
No, it's right. So, we met with our hop brokers and distributors and toured some of the farms and the processing facilities, and then you do this big whole hop excursion thing and try a bunch of the beers on the West Coast and that are experimenting with different types of hops, maybe that you have heard of or that you haven't heard of. And so we kind of came away from that thinking we knew we wanted to do a beer that was double dry hop. But how do you not just make like one double dry hop beer that does well and people like it, but how do you keep people's attention for one thing, but also we wanted to experiment with all these different hops and thought it would be fun to kind of like bring the customer along on this journey with us almost. So, clearly putting on the label what the hops are and in what percentages they are, so that when you try that 75% Citra, 25% Enigma, you know that most of what you're tasting is coming from the Citra, but you're like, okay, but I've had Citra beers before, and this one tastes a little bit different, and it's kind of interesting, and I really like it. That's that 25% Enigma. So if you care to get into it, you can try each one of the series with us.
Yeah.
And so, we've used it to pilot, hop combinations. We've used it to experiment with different growing regions of hops. The tough thing is that when you push people too far, because DDH in most people's minds has been a certain profile, flavor profile, tropical, fruit forward, very aromatic.
Yeah.
But when you start pushing people into the different, like, maybe more citrus and pine forward or earthy, spicy hops, you don't want to go too crazy because those don't play as well on like the New England style IPA. But if you start playing around with those types of flavors, then the people who, like you said, like might not be paying as close of attention might try it and be like, oh, this isn't the DDH I remember, and then give you like a 1-star rating on Untapped. And it's like, well, no, if you read the can, those were all hops that were grown in Michigan. So it's a super interesting beer because you can try that and be like, oh, wow, I didn't even know they grew hops in Michigan. I'm really enjoying this experiment that Tupps has created. The problem, though, is if you aren't a super fan of Michigan hops, you might drink 2 cans and give 4 cans to your friend, You know what I mean? So the tough thing that we're running into now is with sending that beer across most of the state, with all these wholesalers and grocery store chains that have it in cold box sets. How do you roll through that every single month? Because the biggest feedback we get from customers, not just
Pain in the ass.
yeah, not just the distributors and not just the grocery stores, but also from customers, is it's a $15 six pack. You know, like how much do you drink, and how often are you going to go spend $15 on a six pack? A lot of people do it every month. Great, and we love you. Thank you for doing that. But for a lot of people that don't drink all that often, you know, that they want to experiment with us and kind of take this journey with us, it's like, well, I missed the last 2 series, but I got this one and I can't keep up, and it's just too annoying.
Well, and I think the thing is that we have, what, 26 in the tank now?
Yeah.
So that's a lot
2
of
years.
series. And then we'll do variants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
And
gonna
it's
mention
like,
variants.
you know, all of a sudden we're putting cinnamon and pineapple because it goes great with these hops. And
Yeah.
everybody loves it, and then everybody comes back and goes, well, how come I got you know, 1 6-pack, and I went back a week later and it's all gone?
Yeah.
I'm pissed off. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, wait another couple weeks and there'll be a brand new
I
one.
promise you'll get, yeah.
But I want the old one.
So-
It's interesting the problem to have, right?
It is going to change though. Just to
go ahead. Oh,
put,
yeah.
put a final note on that. So DDH in 2021 is going to be a little different.
Okay.
But don't worry, we're still gonna make like these super awesome Haze Bomb beers. Some of them may come out a little less frequently,
Gotcha.
but they might be more different. So hazier, bigger hops, more, you know, maybe a triple hop or bigger hop loading on the 2 hop, whatever. But I mean, there's gonna be bigger Haze Bomb
Variants,
beers, and then more exciting variants, though we may just do them a little less often, and then
Makes sense.
there'll be some changes to kind of like what we'll call our flagship DDH. But we got to decide on the final details on that before we necessarily go public. But I guess just expect a couple of tweaks to the DDH.
You guys are always working behind the scenes. That's what I'm hearing. You guys are always
Yeah.
working and trying to help customers and plan for a help.
Well, and you create a beer that's like,
We
this
do
is going to
too
be an
much of
awesome
that.
beer. Yeah, we do a lot. We do a lot more than that we should. But you create a beer, and then it's a fantastic beer and it sells really well. But there are problems. Okay, well, what are those problems? Well, like rotating too quickly for grocery, or there's inventory issues because like a store didn't sell through all of 17, but they want to get 18, and then okay, well, we can pivot this way, and then we can pivot this way, and then we can eventually get to a point where you're like, okay, I think I've got it. Oh wait, but now it's less appealing to the customer because I took too much advice from wholesale, grocery chain, whatever, and now the beer got boring. So how do you like figure all that out to make sure that it's manageable to sell it and use it? Yeah, but keep it super exciting for the consumer, so there's no like gaps on the shelf, but people still really, really want to drink and are super excited when it comes out.
Yeah.
And that's what I think going into 2021, we feel like we're taking one more step closer to that. But
But that's also exciting. Listen, it's you know this better than I do, both of y'all. You're never gonna satisfy everybody. You know, you
Yes.
can't make everybody happy.
that's true.
But if the goal is you're trying to make as most people happy as possible, then that's a good goal to hit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'm trying to satisfy check as many boxes as I can to help make and support everybody, right? Because you're right. I didn't think about the grocery stores. You know, some grocery stores doesn't sell as much beer every month.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and some sell out in the first week. You know, so that's gonna be a hard one to manage, right? But then certain customers, again, only go to one place, but they don't go to the place down the street that also has the beer. So
Yeah.
they're like, oh, okay, forget that place, but that sits on the shelf forever. So it's a weird landfill that you guys are walking through and trying to map out, right? But
It keeps it fun though. It keeps it exciting. So
keeps
Yeah.
it fun, a little stressful and fun.
yeah.
You know, life is full of stress,
Yeah.
right? But I just want to appreciate you guys for doing that because, believe it or not, even people who don't are happy about the changes. Like some people are set in their ways. People like drinking the same beer every day, and I get that too. I really do. But that one person who didn't expect the variety to change and then likes the change, or maybe didn't like the change, but they look into it like, why do I not like it? Those are the people you keep as a customer forever, and those are the people who get into craft beer, and that's why I wanted to bring that up and thank you guys for it, because it brings people into the fold of craft beer. You know, myself included. It brings you into the fold because like, why is this different?
Yeah.
You know, I didn't like this IPA before, but now this different variants with this little slight different percentages. You know, now I'm happy with it. Why?
Yeah.
You know, so It sucks for some grocery stores, it sucks for some customers. They might not be happy, but I really appreciate you guys doing this. You know?
Well, it's helpful too that when it's something that you're passionate about, right?
Yeah.
You know, and that it's fortunate that what you happen to be passionate about is also a growing trend in craft beer. But, you know, there are things that we're passionate about that are not growing trends in craft beer that we may try and experiment with in 2021, and maybe they don't work, but
But you have to try it.
but there has to be passion behind it, and hopefully we can convey that passion through our presence in the market, through the artwork on the can, through how we present ourselves to the market, and then when they try it, they're like, that's old school, but I really like it, and I feel cooler drinking it because the can design's cool, and you got to play all the game, but I mean, like my brother and I really want to do a Hefeweizen.
Do it.
And we probably will do a seasonal Hefeweizen, and it probably won't sell very well because it's not a trending style, but we really want one. So.
But here's the thing: like you just made it have, Falsado just made it have. But the thing about these places, right, and yourself included, the beers you make is the beers you want to drink, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not everyone's gonna be a freaking amazing seller. You want them to be, of course. Everybody wants to make money, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as you're happy with the beer, and when you drink, you're like, I really fucking love this beer.
Yeah.
You know, then make it, because that's gonna lead you to the next beer. That's gonna lead you to the next.
Well, it's
beer
like
after that.
community. Everybody keeps telling community. I know that you have a multiple gold medal, GABF gold medals for your ESB, but it's not clicking in the market. You gotta try something different. And they're like, no, it's a delicious beer and I love it and it's our most awarded beer. We're gonna keep making it. It's like,
of course.
As long as it's not getting in the way of other stuff, good for you, you know?
That's the key. As long as it's not in the way of other things. But also, my thing is if you're happy, you know, that's all of it. Even the people who work here, if they drink a beer and they're happy about it, right? Okay, is it going to be the best seller? Probably, maybe not. We don't know. But if they're ever happy, it gives you the passion to keep moving forward, you know? And that's what you guys want to have, is the desire to keep pushing it and keep going forward, you know? Again.
And especially like with the new tap room too, I mean, we'll have a bigger place to showcase stuff, you know, and it could be seltzer, it could be imperial stouts, it could be hazy beers, but I think that when we get to the newer tap room, it's going to be important that not that we, you know, create a mass appeal kind of environment, but we want to be a gathering place for the community. And if we're going to be a gathering place for the community, we have to appeal to more than just beer niche in the community.
Yeah.
So having a lighter beer, having a Hefeweizen, having an amber, you know, having a lager, having a hazy, having a stout, having an imperial stout, having a balanced lineup. I mean, probably like last summer when we were like in the thick of getting caught up with DD6 and Juice Pack and all these beers that were on fire and then running out of production capacity, you could come to the tap room here and it'd be like IPA, hazy IPA, IPA, hazy IPA. And that's not our intention, but like, where's the beer? Even for me, if it's 1,000,000 degrees outside, I just kind of want to drink National Standard, but like, we're behind on production capacity, and so all we had were like 6 IPAs, and that was it. So we just have to make sure we're balanced, and I think doing a half would be part of that. So.
I think it would be.
Well, it definitely is a sign when your brewer comes back from a business trip to Austin and he's got a case of Live Oak Hef. And he's like, I love this beer. He's like, well, just brew one.
Yeah.
Shout out to Live Oak. I think it's like the gold standard in Texas for good hef.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
really good.
They're really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, do what you want. Like their Mexican lager at Odd News is their go-to beer right now. They want to drink. And will it ever be a #1 seller in Texas? Probably not. But they love it, you know. And then when you go to the tap room, if you're again for the heavy craft beer drinkers, sometimes you're fucking tired of stouts and heavy IPAs, 12% beers. Like fuck, I don't want this. I just want a 4% beer that I can sit down and drink and talk to my friends.
Yeah.
You know? And a good hef is like that, a good lager is like that. So
there's a lot of time and place in this. I mean, like drinking seltzer, hanging outside by the pool, awesome. Drinking an imperial stout at home, watching a movie by yourself with a blanket on. I mean, that's a different setting, right?
That's also awesome. That's also awesome.
Right.
But like, we're hanging out in the tap room. What's the first beer I go to? Juice Pack probably. Maybe the new DDH that was just packaged. But the second beer through the 6th beer are probably going to be National Standard. So, yeah, I think there's an appropriate time and place for a lot of these beers.
Exactly. So. And that's why I highly recommend you making that hef.
Yeah.
But you mentioned a new project that you guys are working on, the hard seltzer. Blur. Where did that name come from?
I think Chris picked that one,
Chris
right?
did, yeah.
I like the canning. His artwork and cannons looks amazing. But Blur is an interesting name.
Yeah.
I was wondering if there was a story behind there.
Well, one of the interesting things about coming up with names is it's very difficult.
Yes.
Because you'll find that there's names are taken, and a name that you just thought was completely clear. It's like, what? Somebody's got that. So coming up with names is interesting, and Blur seemed to fit. It's kind of like, are we blurring the lines between beer and water? And
Yes,
that's kind of what this is. But obviously the seltzer category nationwide is exploding. It's just unbelievable. And we had a project with a partner in Austin, which kind of got our feet wet in that whole thing, and then we decided let's just jump right in and put a whole program together. So we're real excited. I think this coming week is actually the first week it'll be in the market. I think Benny Keith picked it up Thursday, Friday last week, so it's out and about now.
I can't wait to buy some. You have some interesting flavors. So mango, dragon fruit, lemon berry, passion fruit, watermelon, and hibiscus apple. Very interesting flavors. I can't wait to try all of them.
Well, and that's the hope, is that attitude towards the flavors, right? Because White Claw was the first mover in this seltzer category, and they picked the flavors that you should pick if you're a first mover: lime, black cherry. The basics. Lemon, and they're great, and they executed them well, and that's why they've been so successful, right? But, the next person in is going to be doing the exact same thing the first person in did, except they're going to try and get to market in some places faster, or just, or you got to stock on White Claw, then buy me, right?
Yeah.
And then the rest of the market gets in, the big guys, still doing the same thing: black cherry, lemon, lime.
Yes.
So, how do you take the craft mentality from beer and create a seltzer that still appeals to the seltzer drinker, but we're all playing the same game. We're in the same lanes as like the major flavor categories, but let's twist them and make it more interesting and make it more fun. Lemon's fine, but like blueberry lemon, like there's something about like lemonade with blueberry vodka in it on a summer day that's just like, oh my gosh, that just sounds so good.
You have me at vodka.
Right?
I need to try that now.
So that was like the I think one of the first things that we thought of with blueberry lemonade. We also work with a really great group of people at our flavoring company to custom design all these flavors, and so we had some back and forth with them on tweaking more of this, less of this.
Gotcha.
So that was really helpful. But this is step one for us for this. So having all these like really nice, interesting flavors that when you read the box, you're like, oh, that is so different than what everybody else is doing. I can't wait to try them. And then you try them and they deliver, right?
Yeah.
We have to deliver on the flavor. But, we're not stopping with this. We're already thinking about the next thing, because it's craft. Well, in this case, craft seltzer, but craft beer. It's new. Got to keep going, right? Got to keep doing the next thing. And so what's the seasonal 12-pack box look like? Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We have to launch this, and I want everybody to go grab this, right now and drink it. It's awesome.
No, but I'm excited with
But-
you. When you like, what's the next
Yeah.
season? I was like, I don't know. These flavors sound interesting.
Yeah,
Can't
but
wait
we
to try some.
have a really good partnership with our flavor house. We've got a really good partnership with the design company we use, and everybody's geared up to just keep doing more, and they want to continue to participate in this. And in a lot of cases, the partnership that we have with some of these other companies has been either free or cheaper, or I'll cut you a big discount because like in some cases they want to know, they want to learn on us how to develop this for that. Either it's seltzer or design or whatever. Everybody's trying to branch out and do something new and different, and so it's kind of a collaborative effort between a couple of different companies to create something awesome. Now, when Blur is a $1 billion company, I doubt they'll do the artwork for 50% off, but at least for now, it's been a mutually beneficial relationship.
That's the point of craft beer, is the collaborative effort,
Mm-hmm.
Between everything. From the start of you guys being open 6 years ago, You know, it's always been a collaborative thing with the community and people you can work with. You know, collaborative with you in the community here and getting some things you wanted in here and gifts, and then collaborate effort in this. It's gonna be, that's the beauty of craft beer. It's always a collab with somebody.
Yeah.
Like, I got this, you got this. How can we help each other? And everybody wants to help. Because everybody, if I help you and you help them, everybody wins. And that's the model that I love in this community.
Yeah.
It sounds exciting. I can't wait to try something. I love hard seltzer. It's one of my favorite things. I really am really excited about the local craft hard seltzer because it tastes way better. I've always said I was a Truly kind of girl. It's true. I love Truly. But the local ones taste better.
Yeah.
And some of the local ones have more ABV. That's not, you can't get as much ABV out of it as a regular beer, but, you know, 6% sounds great, 5% sounds great too.
Well, we're all trying to innovate and do something different, you know.
And
I mean, if we just came out with flavors that were exactly the same as Truly and White Claw, why would you go to us when, you know, White Claw is stacked up with 50 cases by the front door? It's just too convenient. You just want to buy that instead, right?
Again, the same thing, like the reason why you don't make the same beer like Bud Light, you know, because theirs is going to be cheaper anyway. Like,
right.
Can you make a Bud Light? Definitely.
Yeah.
But it's going to be more expensive.
Right.
You know? So
and we don't have a $1 billion manufacturing facility to execute flawlessly like they do. I can say that we would get damn near close to it, but certainly not for the you know, economies of scale that they have.
No.
So our game is to innovate and be creative and have fun with it and try new flavors and try new artwork and try and engage people in a different way. So
I like it. First of all, follow them on Instagram, Facebook, Blur. Artwork looks great. They have a countdown too, so you also have a link to buy some of this hard seltzer. Also look at your local market, see if you can buy some. But I just like the artwork and the flavors just sound great. The flavors sound. The mango and the apple is one I really want to try. The blueberry, lemonade, or lemon blueberry, I should say. Sorry. Sounds interesting too. But they all sound. The watermelon sounds interesting too. Why not? Let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
Let's drink it. You know?
Yeah.
But that's the exciting part. Like, beer, hard seltzer in particular, gets boring really, really fast. You know, because everybody does the same thing, like you said, in the big boy markets, right? You know, Bud Light has hard seltzer now. You know, fucking Keystone has hard seltzer.
No, everybody. Yeah.
Everybody has it, and they all fucking suck, and they all boring. No disrespect to anybody else, but it's just boring.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when the LaCroix was one of the first movers in sparkling water, right? And as soon as other companies started jumping in, it was just, you know, copycat of LaCroix, but different artwork, right?
Yeah.
And then everybody, including LaCroix, started innovating on flavor, and there was this like 6-month period of time where it was like blowing up the internet. Have you tried the, you know, blackberry lime flavored or carbonated water? Have you tried Bubbly's version of the whatever? And then there were all these like Thrill List and BuzzFeed doing articles about like ranking the top, you know, carbonated water, you know, flavors. And then they would post something that says coconut was number 1, and everyone would get all mad about it and like up in arms on the internet. It's like, well, that's, I mean, isn't that phase 2 of seltzer with, you know, with this industry, is with the explosive growth they've had? I'm confused as to why more people haven't innovated on flavors so far. So hopefully craft pushes, you know, people to do more, innovate, find new fun flavors. So
no, it is true. The craft will push it. Same reason why the big boys are doing hazy IPAs now. The market, I did that on purpose, guys. The market, you know, craft beer is still smaller than big boy beers, just by volume, right? But the moment you took a little bit from their cake, they're like, we should do this too, and they do it. And then the same thing with the hard seltzer game. As more people like yourself get into making hard seltzer and innovating with flavors and different profiles, the big boys will notice too and try to do the same thing. Because we push it, the people push it.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm excited. But also, I just excited us here in DFW have hard seltzer that I could buy locally, so I can stop buying Truly. No offense, Truly, if you want to sponsor these videos, you can.
It's all about the money.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
You can do a sponsorship always, but I will still drink other people's stuff. But it's just because it tastes better. Like beer, it tastes better. You know? So it's great.
Yep.
So October 4th is the official launch
Well, it's out there now.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was the official launch, and as soon as we shipped it, it leaked out like crazy. So it's it's pretty much everywhere now, which is run around to Kroger's and Market Streets and Specs and Total Ones and bottle shops. So
some places it snuck out. Some places got it last week, but a lot of the bigger chains will get it Monday, Tuesday, this week. So this is kind of the launch week with a big launch party at the brewery this weekend. So
Nice. I will look forward to the launch party, but I will be picking up some on my way home.
you can take some from here.
yeah,
We'll buy some. No,
we got some.
I hope so.
I know a guy.
I'm super excited about all this, man. I don't know. I just feel really blessed to be here with you guys right now.
We're good.
You guys are
Great to have you.
You guys are one of the nicest people in the world, and you guys are a staple in craft beer. So to see you guys to be successful is great. And continued success.
Well, we'll have to do this at the new location when it's under construction. So we'll be breathing some sawdust.
I have no problem being there.
Throwing a hard hat.
Yeah, I've done it at a few other breweries that were built. Like when 3 Nation was moving over, I did theirs. Fall Side when they were doing construction in their place, I did podcast there, which is it's always weird, but it's always fun. It's always fun. I look forward to doing that stuff too. But also, before we wrap up, I want to give you another thanks to you guys. I buy my heart for beer. I say this a lot all the time now, but you guys kept all your employees. You guys took care of everybody you work with, and not everybody in the United States have done that. So I really, really appreciate you guys for doing that.
Sure.
Taking care of your team, taking care of your sales reps. You guys are just sweet people, and I thank you for doing that.
Good.
Taking care of your
Thanks.
people,
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So it's just a blessing to have you guys here.
Yeah. No, we appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I'm actually tearing up now. Just thinking about all the people. I got tears. But I don't know why. I've been really emotional this weekend. But it's just like you hear some horror stories from other people nationwide, and it's like they got rid of the sales because they don't need them anymore because no one's selling. But come on.
Yeah.
People got families too, so I really, really appreciate you guys taking care of you.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, I would say then I would flip the script and say thank you to you and thank you to everybody out there who has continued to participate in craft beer and buy craft beer and support us and support the community as a whole. I mean, like you were saying earlier, we were fortunate enough to have decent placements at grocery stores, so it was a little easier for us to keep all of our people, even when sales reps couldn't go to market, and they're sitting at home playing video games. We were able to stomach some of the tougher times because of our distribution into groceries. So we still need help. Everybody still needs help, but I would definitely say like the Petacolases and the Odd Muses and the False Idols and Vector and the guys that had a business plan written 12 months ago, 18 months ago, and are just now getting open.
I forgot about to mention Vector. They just opened up to join the whole thing. Right? That's crazy too.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to help them is beer to go.
Yeah.
I mean, drive out there. I mean, our beer to go business is off the charts. It's unbelievable. And to think that it's only been a year that we were even legally allowed to do that.
Thanks to
the timing.
Yeah,
the timing was
Michael
crazy.
helped a bunch. I mean, it was a whole thing.
The whole community went behind
it.
it.
Was great. And the consumers, they went online and bitched and moaned and helped us out. So, but still today, you can go out and do beer to go. That's a great way to do it. Margins are great for the breweries. Keeps them going. Keeps them alive.
But if I want to end on that positive note. I love you guys. I really, really appreciate it. And maybe possibly a sneak preview of the new location.
Yeah. We'll do that.
Well, thanks for being here, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Follow Tupps on all social media. Follow Blur on all social media. Links in the description below. And we'll be drinking, partying next weekend.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks a bunch.
Thanks.
Thank you guys.